webinar. We are just waiting for a few extra people to join, but we are going to crack on because I'm conscious we have already started a few minutes late. The session today is going to be about half an hour, but if you do need to drop off at any point, don't worry, because this is all going to be recorded and I will then email that over to you afterwards. Just going to start with a quick presentation about Sintra. We've got some existing clients on the call and also some new clients. So sorry for the existing clients if we're going over things you already know, but obviously for the potential new clients, just to give you a bit more information on Sintra. So Sintra the software itself has been around for 40 years. Our head office is in Newcastle and we're a completely UK-based payroll company. Education is our largest sector, reason being the software was originally built for the education sector. You can see on the page here just a few of our education clients. And what you'll notice is we have a range of clients. So we have colleges, primary schools, secondary schools, multi-academy trusts, and we also have payroll bureaus. So there are education only payroll bureaus who are using our software to run their own outsourced offering in. And then you can see the sort of stats and scales that we're working to at the bottom of the screen. In terms of the services and softwares that we offer, these are all on the screen now. I've highlighted in the blue box the areas that we're going to go through today. So that's going to be the HR software. With the HR software, there are different levels to it. So you can choose the level that's most applicable to you. And then you can do like an incremental rollout, add modules as you go. We're then going to go through the payroll outsourcing offer, Sintra Groups, which sits within the cloud, really good functionality for particularly larger multi-academy trusts, but also just in terms of being able to report on your payroll. And then the holiday and absence functionality that will reside within the HR software. As you can see, though, there are other offerings which we're not going to touch on today, but we will do at a later date. If there are any softwares here which you see we're not going to go through today, which you would like to find out more about, could you please just pop those in the chat box during today's session, and then our team will be able to reach out to you. If you could give a bit of context as well, so if it's expenses software, if you could give us an idea of sort of how many users you have, the sort of expenses, that would be really appreciated. So we are going to just touch on sort of background of the payroll. So with our payroll offering, like I said, I'm going to be showing you the outsourced offer, but I think it's important to note you have got a lot of flexibility. So we offer outsourced payroll, co-managed payroll, which is a hybrid version, and a fully in-house payroll option. With the in-house option, we also have our business continuity payroll. What that means is if there's an emergency, we just need 3 days notice and our outsourced services team can run the payroll for you. Reason that's so pivotal to education is often an in-house payroll team can be quite small, obviously high risk if somebody does have to go off for an emergency. So we just need you to know that we can cover you if you need us to. Other great thing about this model means as you scale, you might start at an outsourced and then you might want to progress to an in-house version of the payroll because it makes sense. Nice and easy. It'll just be a quick addendum and you're all on one platform. So there's no need to do a big implementation all over again. We just transfer you over, give you the necessary training and you'd be good to go. In terms of what makes Sintra slightly different, I'm not going to read all these out, but you can sort of have a look at the key things that make us different to the rest of the players in the marketplace. I think the key call outs though would be number one, we only have one payroll software. So larger competitors, there's multiple different instances of the payroll platform. You can keep on getting lifted and shifted and constantly upgraded. We just continually invest in the one payroll platform itself. Second thing is because we have that one platform, that means we are using that as our own outsourced bureau platform. So we have a vested interest in it working. If it's not working for you, it's not working for us and we can't run our business off that. And the last thing would be about our support team. So with our support team, they are all ex-payrollers. So when you call us, you would be talking to a specialist practitioner. It's not just like you're calling someone, they're trying to do an IT ticketing, debug the system. We understand where you're at in the payroll. We get the bigger picture. So we become effectively an extension of your team. So we're going to start with the demos on the HR software, but like I mentioned at the start, there's different tiers to the software. Just to give you an oversight of what that looks like, there's the essential level, the professional level, and the intelligent level. And you can see on here all the different factors that you get within each level. Essential, you have performance, absence, and timesheets. It's a sort of out-the-box solution where you have a live organizational chart, an employee dashboard. Next level up is where you get to the realms of performance appraisals. Top level is where you have, Kevin, just seen you want to know about payroll software. Absolutely fine. We'll contact you on that. And the next level up on the intelligent is where you have full bells and whistles, unlimited workflows, skills, sets, skill heat mapping. Can't think, it's got a lot in there. So yeah, different levels. You would choose the level that's right for you. With regards to the payroll outsourcing offer, so we have a pay timetable. Typically with the education sector, we do 2 rounds of payroll checking. I will show you when we start the demonstration where you can see these timetables. But there is the option to do 1 round of checking. We just always advise 2 rounds of checking, just because of obviously the complexities, which I'm sure you're all well aware of within the education payroll sector. In terms of our service delivery model for outsourced services, you would have a dedicated team. Within that team, there is a payroll manager. The payroll manager doesn't do any actual payrolling. Their job is to oversee their team and ensure they are working as efficiently as possible and hitting our KPIs. You then have 7 to 8 actual payrollers, but you do have 1 named contact. So as much as possible, we want you to be speaking to 1 person, but obviously we need the continuity of having a whole team there who are comfortable with your payroll should that person go off on holiday. You have a direct number for the payroll manager and your contact. And I'll also show you, we have a payroll messaging functionality within the cloud where you can have a full status update of any queries you might have raised and the full history of your chat. Perfect. So I'm now going to start the demonstration, so we don't need to have this PowerPoint up anymore. I'm going to do the hardest bit of today's session, which is sharing my screen, which always goes wrong. So let's hope that's going to work. Perfect. I can see that. Just a little bit of housekeeping. So I'm just on our website now. If you do want to find out about any more of our product set, which we're not going to go through today, you can download all the relevant brochures. And then for the outsourced services, if you were to scroll right to the bottom of our page, we have a link here called OSS Resources. If you click on this link, you can then start to see all of our pay timetables. So you can either view the monthly or the education. You can also see the annual pay awards. If you download these into Excel, you can pop your pay date in and all of the dates will adjust accordingly. So you can see what the submission would look like in real time. We also have our payroll fact card. So that will show you any of the additional charges like for reruns, anything like that, payroll benefits, that's all going to be in there. We like to be fully transparent about that, so you can go in and have a look there. I am whizzing through and I just realised how quick I'm speaking. I was conscious of time, but we're going to slow it down now. So we'll do about 10 minutes on the HR software, 10 minutes on the payroll software. Just a bit of housekeeping. Both softwares are SSO and MFA. I'm logged in now as a system admin, but what's important about our HR system is you have the same login if you're an employee or a administrator. It's just all permission based depending on what you can and can't see. I'm logged in here at the top level, so the intelligent level, so full bells and whistles. We're definitely not going to have time to go through all of that in 10 minutes, but just be aware that obviously if you went for the essential level or the professional, it would be substantially stripped down. So what I'm on now is the dashboard. So this is the landing page, if you like. Purpose of the dashboard is to make everyone's lives a little bit easier by putting key links on here, which you want to be really easily accessible. So that could be your policies and procedures. If that's stored on your intranet, we could look to have that embedded within here. Just a nice jump through page for your employees to be able to click in. If they wanted to access our expenses module, or if you had a third-party software, we could put their link on there. Any check-ins, you sort of get the picture. Point of this is just for people to be able to click through and get to the information they need. If you're a system admin, however, and if you tend to run the sort of same reports every day, you can start to lock those down as well. So you're not having to go and find them every day. You just click on your dashboard. Everyone has an overview of their tasks. We're just trying to put a bit more onus and accountability on both employee and managers to give them the full visibility of anything outstanding they've got, to take the pressure off HR, which typically we understand HR obviously have to do a lot of chasing. Point of this is to give everyone that visibility so they can worry about that themselves. So they've got an overview of their tasks. Any training can be logged. If they've got any qualifications that are expired, that's going to show there as well. Managers will also have a team overview, so they can see all of their team and their team's outstanding tasks. Obviously, I'm assuming Leanna is going to be in quite a bit of trouble with HR, so we can see these. So hopefully no one in your business would look like that. We're now going to look at an employee profile. So this is Leanna. It's all permission-based, so it's up to you what you're happy for employees to be able to update. And we can put levels of approval upon that. And also we can lock off any features you're not happy for them to update, such as bank account details, for example. Just to go through the profile though, we have all of their key information, their next of kin, their diversity, single central record. All of this information can be stored here. We then have their job. So this is going to show you their current role. If they have multiple posts, they would have a drop down between the different posts and they would select the relevant post. All of their position details. We do hide sensitive information. Obviously, if you are in an office or your employees in an office, we don't just want this on the screen for everybody to see. So we do hide that off. You can start to track the recruitment source as well. Really powerful tool, because then you can start to track the recruitment agency with your attrition rate. Fuji Water are a customer who use this platform, and they saved over $3 million by looking into this and being able to track one particular recruitment agency with a high rate of turnover. We then have a timeline of the employee's job history. So that's going to show since they started, any changes in their job they've had, any REM changes, that'll all be here. Relevant qualifications can be stored here as well, like first aid, for example. All training can also be stored. To caveat, this is not an L&D platform. We do have native integrations with a number of vendors, but this would solely be to actually log the training which has been completed here. All exportable, and you can give the option for the employee to add their training, but obviously you can do this from a central function as well. We will then go on to people. So we have a live organizational chart which can be fully exported should you have any audits where you're required to submit this, and it's a dynamic one. You can either view it via direct report or business unit. So you no longer need to keep manually updating this. The system's going to do it for you as soon as you onboard someone. We also have a people calendar. This is a bit like Marmite, and I'm not too sure why, to be honest, because I think it's a really nice feature. But what it's going to show is you can roll this out to your employees. It's going to show any anniversaries, any birthdays, any upcoming starters. It'll all show here, so everybody's sort of in the loop. And you can celebrate with people. So if they have got an anniversary or birthday, just a really nice way to keep that nice warm culture that you're trying to build all in one place. You'll notice each section here has its own analytics. So I will come on to that just to show you what our reporting functionality looks like. Just realised the time, not sure where those 7 minutes went. But yeah, each feature has that. We then have engagement. So we have pulses. These are sort of regular reminders for employees. It could be a one-to-one, it could be a performance view. That's all going to be in here. Performance management. We have your full performance appraisal process within the system. Any PIPs will be listed here as well. The performance appraisals will be built during the implementation process, obviously, So we'd replicate what your current process / build a new process with you. Key things that affect payroll. You've got the ability to claim holiday and sickness and also overtime. Managers have the option here to approve these, depending on how you want to permission it. But all of this information can be seen here. So I know holiday bookings aren't as relevant because you'll be turn time only, but there is the option for that to be done. Same with sickness. And then we would build in your relevant sick pay schemes. So the system's going to automatically work out the sick pay calculation. With the timesheets, this is just a really nice way to be able to digitalize claiming overtime. So we have the period at the top, up to you how far you're willing for employees to claim back from. Most do 3 months. If you wanted it to be longer or shorter or in weeks, the system can adjust to that. So the employee would select the period, select the post, and select the overtime rate. Again, during implementation, we'll be building your overtime rate into the system. And then the employee has their pay slips. Sorry, home Wi-Fi is a little bit slow. So they've got their full pay slip, got what everyone's most bothered about at the top, your net pay, and then you can drill down and see the rest. I'm just trying to find an example because what we do have is not on this screen. We have, if there's multiple other pay elements, so let's say it was overtime, what you would have here is a plus icon which will come next to the pay element. Just going to zoom in here. It would show the dates and the amount that that overtime was attributed to, just to give the employee a bit more visibility. We're conscious that in the education sector, there is a lot of toing and froing with employees asking HR or payroll what this total sum means. So we just like to break it down for them. And then with regards to analytics, depending on the level of HR you go for, dictates the amount of analytics you have readily available. But each level does have analytics available. This seems to have glitched. But each of the analytics are dynamic, so you can start to chop and change them as you like. Just going to show you an example of a workforce headcount. So you have all the key information at the top. So these are all of your tiles, and then you can start to drill down into the trends here. But for example, if I'm only bothered about males and fixed contract, I'm just going to toggle on those two, and then these tiles will now have updated accordingly. You also have the option to go into settings, and you can start to tick and untick the information you're wanting to see. So you've got a report writer here. We're now going to move on to the payroll. But what's really important is this is all integrated. So whatever updates you make in HR are going to automatically sit in payroll. The one thing that won't automatically update is the timesheets. That will sit in a sort of holding pen just for payroll to have that final sign off on. And then once they've approved that, that'll automatically go through. So this is the cloud. I think what's an important note about the cloud is what I'm going to show you with the cloud and central groups. You would also have access to if you're running your payroll in-house. It's just another view of the payroll. But if you are having it fully outsourced, this is just what you'd be interacting with. So you have your payrolls here. You can have no limit on obviously the amount of payrolls you have, and they'd be called the relevant names. Just going to click into one. So what you have when you click into a payroll is full visibility of your payroll. So this is all live based off the most recent adjustments you've made. All of the tiles are dynamic, so when you click on them, the relevant information will show underneath. So for our new starters, we can see all of our new starters here. You can see here it's going to flag if the HMRC checklist has been updated or not. If you want to view employees' pay details, effectively looking at a pay slip, you can come here and toggle forwards and backwards. I am going to show you how to edit employees' details, just because obviously if you didn't take the HR platform, you can still make all the necessary updates on the system directly as well. So you can either have them both or just standalone the payroll. So we have the employees' details, address details, everything you'd expect. But obviously you need to know that you can keep your relevant working patterns in here. So this can be updated into the software. All your salary and allowance can all be in here as well. Costing details, you can cross-charge cost centres, that would all be in here. HML starter checklist and also holiday entitlements. If we then go into your salary and allowances, this is going to show everyone's salary, as you'd expect. What we show is a live variance. So really nice way to sense check everything as it should be. Because obviously if your salary stays static, there should be a 0 variance. So just a nice way to sense check everything's going on there. Each of these tiles have an advanced view, and that's effectively a report writer. So as well as us sending you checking reports, you can come in and build your own reports in the meantime. One-off payments, this is where we're going to see the likes of your overtime, any expenses. So it'll give you a list of everyone, but you can start to filter that down per group or heading, or you can just have a nice by heading summary to see what went on and then start to view and expand these. Just going to go back into your net pay. So what you can see here again, we've always got that variance just for you to be able to sense check all the information that's been input. Building on the reports, we have these live reports. So again, just giving you the ability to run these reports. There's no bottleneck of you having to wait for us to produce these for you and then send them to you. You can just crack on and build your own reports as and when you need. As part of the payroll process, we would ask you to update all the information in here. Once you're happy, we ask you to press this submit button. At that point, your payroll's locked. Our payroll team will then run the payroll and send you checking reports back. The checking reports will sit here. You dictate what checking reports you want to see during the implementation build, but obviously the ones here that you can see are very common. Just show you a quick example of a PDF one. So we've got a payroll analysis report here. They can all be in PDF or Excel. Some are more suited to Excel, like a pay variance, for example. But we've got your payroll analysis. We've got all your reconciliations, what you owe the tax man here, all of your pension payments, and then your net pay analysis at the bottom, just to give you a quick flavour of what the look and feel looks like. Once you have looked at the reports and viewed them, we would then ask you to approve them and authorise payment, and we can then pay via BACS. You do have the option, if you take your payroll in-house, you can still outsource that part of the process to us should you wish. And then you have a full status update here, so you can see which part you're in, because each relevant bit would highlight. In terms of messaging functionality, so obviously I mentioned about you've got the direct number for your payroll manager and your team lead. You've also got the ability to message them. We don't want any emails because obviously that's not a safe and secure way. We want everything to come into here, which will go directly to your team. You can CC your colleagues in at the top just to keep you all in the loop. Add any relevant attachments, like this might be a MAP B1 form, for example. Send that over to us, and then you have the full history of your chat and the status update of if the query has been resolved or if it's in progress. I'm now going to touch on Cintra groups. So again, groups can be used whether you're an outsourced client or an in-house client. What Cintra groups does is it's twofold. First one is from a reporting point of view. For senior leadership, it gives them a full consolidated reporting of their whole payroll. Sorry, I just couldn't remember which demo site had the best content. So looking at if you've got multiple payrolls, this is going to consolidate this all to one big sheet for them. You don't need to do lots of manual manipulation. So you can see here all of your total costs, the year-on-year cost, all of your employees. And then you can start to go into each of these and drill down further by ticking and unticking the relevant information which you want to see. Again, you've got your report writer in there. We can then scroll to the bottom of each group, and this can either be by school or cost code. So let's pretend this is a Birmingham school. If I actually just want to drill down into Birmingham school, I'm then going to see all their relevant information. So this is the second part of groups. What it enables you to do is start to devolve that responsibility of the payroll to school business managers or headmasters, where you'd like them to be able to control their payroll, put all of their data in, send that to a central team, and then that can then be sent to us to process, or your payroll team if you're doing it in-house. So just looking at time, I think that's about it. That was a complete whistle-stop tour. So sorry about how quick that was, but we've got all of your emails. So I'll be reaching out with a copy of this recording for you to refer back to. And then we can also, if you would like to discuss any of our offerings that I went through today or any other offerings, we can look through that as well. So thank you all very much for joining, and I hope you have a good rest of the day.